Here we are going to start the blood vessels of abdomen. So we know that the blood vessels of abdomen are mainly arising by means of abdominal aorta. So the abdominal aorta is mainly extending from T12 vertebral level to the L4 level. So this is a T12 level and this is the L4 level. And at the L4 level, the abdominal aorta is dividing into the common iliac artery, that is into right and left common iliac arteries. So at the level of C4, that is the cervical vertebra, the common carotid artery bifurcates like this. So this is about common carotid artery and this is abdominal aorta. So actually we are comparing both of them. So at the level of T4 there is a sternal angle. So at the level of T4 here you can expect the sternal angle. Okay. So once again let us revise them. Extension, the abdominal aorta is from T12 to L4. At the level of L4 it is divided into common iliac arteries. And at the level of C4 there is bifurcation of common carotid artery. At the level of T4 there is sternal angle. Now coming to the ventral branches. So the ventral branches from the aorta are the celiac trunk at the level of T12. This is the celiac trunk. And the superior mesenteric artery at the level of L1 and the inferior mesenteric artery at the level of L3. So celiac trunk at T12, superior mesenteric artery L1, inferior mesenteric artery L3. Now coming to the lateral branches, you have inferior phrenic artery, you have middle suprarenal artery, you have a renal artery and also a gonadal artery. So these are all the lateral branches. They are same on right and left side. So inferior phrenic artery, middle suprarenal artery, renal artery and gonadal artery. These are the lateral branches. Now coming to the dorsal branches, dorsal mean on the back side. So from the back side you will get the left dorsal branches. You have 4 pairs of lumbar arteries, that is L1, L2, L3, L4. 4 pairs of lumbar arteries and also you have a median sacral artery. So these are the dorsal branches, 4 pairs of lumbar arteries, median sacral artery. Now coming to celiac trunk. The celiac trunk branches are left gastric artery, which is the smallest branch, which is a principal artery to the stomach. If you remember the stomach blood vessels, then you can easily say that all these are related. All the celiac trunk branches are related to the stomach because first one is left gastric artery, which is the smallest branch and it is a principal artery to stomach. Next is the splenic artery. In the stomach, it will give rise to short gastric arteries. And next is the common hepatic artery, which gives gastroduodenal artery, right gastric artery, proper hepatic artery, right and left. So these are all the arteries which are indirectly related to the stomach. So this is about celiac trunk. Next coming to the right hepatic artery. Right hepatic artery gives rise to cystic artery, that is Moynihan's hump or caterpillar hump, where you will see a tortuous right hepatic artery found in a Calot's triangle. So in Calot's triangle you will see a tortuous artery, that is nothing but the cystic artery, which is in turn coming from the right hepatic artery. This right hepatic artery is a branch of common hepatic artery and common hepatic artery is a branch of celiac trunk. So indirectly the right hepatic artery is coming from the celiac trunk and it is the cystic artery, which is a tortuous artery in the right hepatic artery, which is found in Calot's triangle. Now let us discuss the branches of gastroduodenal artery. So actually we have took this common hepatic artery branches and they are giving sub branches. For example, we have seen that the right hepatic artery is giving cystic artery as its sub branch and the gastroduodenal artery are having different sub branches like right gastroepiploic artery, superior pancreaticoduodenal artery. So these are the sub branches and you know that the inferior pancreaticoduodenal artery will anastomose with superior pancreaticoduodenal artery, but one thing we need to remember that the inferior pancreaticoduodenal artery is a branch from superior mesenteric artery but not from the gastroduodenal artery. Okay, so the superior pancreaticoduodenal artery and inferior pancreaticoduodenal artery both supply the head of pancreas. Okay, This superior pancreaticoduodenal artery is in turn divided into anterior division and posterior division. And even the inferior pancreaticoduodenal artery is divided into anterior and posterior division. So both anterior and posterior division of superior and inferior pancreaticoduodenal artery anastomose with each other, and they supply the head of pancreas. Okay, so remember, the superior pancreaticoduodenal artery is a branch from gastroduodenal artery, whereas inferior pancreaticoduodenal artery is a branch from superior mesenteric artery. Okay, so now let us discuss about the splenic artery. So splenic artery is also a tortuous artery, and it is found at the level of upper border of pancreas. So in the upper border of pancreas you will find the splenic artery, and there are numerous pancreatic branches. Actually, splenic artery supplies three organs. One is the pancreas, one is the spleen, and one is the stomach. So three organs are supplied by splenic artery. Okay, so splenic artery are numerous pancreatic branches. The gastric branches are short gastric artery, left gastroepiploic artery. Okay, and remember that the splenic artery supplies entire pancreas except head, because the head is supplied by inferior and superior pancreaticoduodenal arteries. Okay, so splenic artery proper, actually splenic artery is divided into splenic artery proper, which is an end artery which only specially supplies the spleen. Okay, it will not supply the stomach and pancreas, whereas normal splenic artery supplies pancreas, spleen and stomach. So splenic artery proper is only an end artery, but entirely whole splenic artery is not an end artery. Remember this, entire splenic artery is not end artery, only the splenic artery proper is an end artery. Now let us discuss a clinical, that is the Dunbar syndrome. So what is the Dunbar syndrome? Here the median arcade ligament comprises the celiac artery. Why? Because it is having an higher origin of celiac trunk. Actually, if the celiac trunk is taking its higher origin, for example, it will take its origin at the rate of T12. But sometimes if it will origin from the higher position, then the arcade line will compress it. Okay, so that is a Dunbar syndrome. Now coming to the superior and inferior mesenteric artery discussion. The superior mesenteric artery, it's on the convex side. It is giving numerous jejunal and ileal branches, whereas on the concave side it gives inferior pancreaticoduodenal artery. Already we discussed that the inferior pancreaticoduodenal artery is coming from superior mesenteric artery. Okay, so on the concave side you have inferior pancreaticoduodenal artery, and on the convex side you have numerous jejunal and ileal branches, and this inferior pancreaticoduodenal artery is divided into anterior and posterior branch. Next, coming to middle colic artery, which is its right branch will anastomose with right colic artery. Actually, the right colic artery is interdivided into ascending and descending branch. Especially the ascending branch of right colic artery will anastomose with right branch of middle colic artery, and the descending branch of right colic artery will anastomose with ascending branch of ileocolic artery. So let me discuss them. Now one by one, let us start with right colic artery. The right colic artery have ascending descending branches, and they anastomose especially with ascending ileocolic artery. So we already discussed that here the descending branch of right colic artery will anastomose with ascending branch of ileocolic artery. Now coming to ileocolic artery, as I said, it is having ascending and descending branch. So it will anastomose with trunk of superior mesenteric artery. Its descending branch will anastomose with trunk of superior mesenteric artery. But the ascending branch of ileocolic artery will anastomose with the right colic artery. Okay, and we already said about this here. Now coming to ileocolic artery, the anterior, it is giving many branches like anterior cecal artery, posterior cecal artery, appendicular artery, and this is again an end artery and an ileal artery. So these are the different branches of ileocolic artery. Now let us discuss about the inferior mesenteric artery. The inferior mesenteric artery have terminal branches, that is the two superior rectal arteries, and also it is giving a left colic artery, ascending artery, anastomos with left branch of middle colic artery. It is having a descending branch and also a sigmoid arteries. We are 2 and 3 in number. The anastomos with descending left colic artery. Okay, actually they all will anastomose with each other and they finally form a marginal anastomosis. You can see here the marginal anastomosis of Drummond. Okay, the arch of Riolan, it is which connecting the proximal part of superior and inferior mesenteric arteries. Marginal anastomosis of Drummond, it is colic vessels which anastomose with each other along margin of colon. This one. Now watershed line. It corresponds to left colic flexure or splenic flexure. Above the line it is supplied by superior mesenteric artery. Below the line it is supplied by inferior mesenteric artery. So the splenic flexure or left colic flexure is not supplied by either superior mesenteric artery or inferior mesenteric artery. So therefore the most common area for ischemic colitis, it's seen in splenic flexure or left colic flexure, and this point is also known as Griffith point. So Griffith point is where there is area of ischemic colitis in the splenic flexure, or also you can say left colic flexure. Now let us see the critical point of SUDEC. So this is where a sigmoid artery fails to anastomose with superior rectal artery and it is seen at rectosigmoid function. Now coming to the Wilkes disease. It is an angle between the superior mesenteric artery and the abdominal aorta and this is maintained by fat. The angle transmits the third part of duodenum. In carcinoma there is loss of fat, so the angle will become acute and it will compress the third part of duodenum. So this is called as Wilkes disease where the third part of duodenum is compressed. Next we have an aberrant right hepatic artery. The aberrant right hepatic artery, that is the abnormal right hepatic artery, mainly arises from superior mesenteric artery. Okay, so by this we have completed the blood vessels and abdomen.